Hey guys, welcome to phase 3 of our strength and conditioning for power punching. For today, we're going to drop the reps down to 3 to 5 repetitions using very similar exercise that we have done for the first 2 phases. With this, the purpose of 3 to 5 reps is to increase the strength that you've got and built up from the first 2 phases without increasing too much more muscle mass. Being in a fight and weight-based sport, you don't want to increase that muscle mass too much to make your weight cut harder. Going through the 4 exercises today, we're going to go through the trap bar deadlift, which we did in phase 2, and increase the actual weight of the bar. We're going to go through the single arm dumbbell row, similar to the bent over prone dumbbell row, but in this case making sure we increase the strength on one side so it matches the other, decreasing the bilateral deficit that you've got. After that, we're also going to do the barbell floor press, which is going to increase the amount of weight you can do as opposed to doing the dumbbell floor press. After that, we're going to go into the ab wheel rollout. With that, we're going to focus on technique to make sure the lower back is safe and also increasing endurance through the core, advancing from the Pallof press and Pallof twist that we did in phase 1 and 2. For phase 3, we're working 3 to 5 reps for all of our strength. We're going to work 3 to 4 sets as well as that, and we're going to rest about 90 seconds to 2 minutes between each set. You're going to need a longer rest to make sure you can maintain the weight and maintain the form that you've developed. If you don't rest long enough, you're going to start to lose strength and you're also going to compromise the position of your body. The only exception with this rule is going to be for the ab rollouts. With this, we're going to continue to work 10 to 12 reps, making sure we build endurance through the core in a much more demanding position. From here, I want you to rest 45 to 60 seconds between each set. The purpose of this is because there isn't as much load through the body, your body will recover more quickly. As Spring's setting up to make sure she does the trap bar deadlift safely, we're going to employ a technique called taking the slack off the bar. With this, she's going to generate force through her legs, lift the bar up very softly until she hears a click, making sure her arm stays nice and straight. With this, the purpose is so you don't jolt or create momentum through the back. As she generates force up, we want to try and ensure that she's forcing her knees away from each other, create nice and safety, strong hips, ensure the lower back isn't doing all of the work. The shoulder blades stay away from the ears, but not squeeze back too heavily. With this, you really want to make sure that you're generating force through the lower body whilst keeping the upper back engaged. Single arm dumbbell row. As a progression from our prone dumbbell row, we're going to make sure that we're working each side of the arm. We're going to start with our non-dominant side, which in this case will be the left side. Starting with a 12.5 kilo weight, Spring's going to engage her back using the shoulder blade first without bending the elbow. Squeezing back, then rowing up. Her back's nice and flat to the ceiling. Most of the weight's carried through the core and also through the hips. The arm isn't locked out and it's nice and soft to ensure that we don't put too much pressure through that arm and we're relying on it too much. As she rows up, the dumbbell's on a slight angle facing away from her body so that it doesn't hit her knees. Once Spring's done with her non-dominant side, we're going to swap over to the dominant side. We're going to rest about 10 seconds between each arm, making sure that we match the same amount of reps and the same tempo that we did with the non-dominant. With the barbell floor press, most of the time you want to have a partner. It is safer than the barbell bench press because you don't have the negative ability to go down past neutral. With this, you want to touch both arms on the ground, ensuring that you rest slightly and generate force explosively coming up. The partner can maintain contact with the bar, but making sure that they're not lifting the bar for you. Most of the time I would recommend ensuring that they use 2 hands, with this one depending on the weight and how comfortable they are with it. As you lay on the ground, ensure that your shoulder blades are squeezed back behind you, feet are about hip width apart, and you're bracing. When you set up with the barbell floor press, ensure the eyes are directly underneath the bar, hands are about shoulder width apart, and you want to come down on the angle so that the bar is directly above the lower portion of the chest or the solar plexus. We're going to progress onto the ab roller. With this, we're going to keep a nice neutral spine that we're practicing with the Pallof press and Pallof twist. Spring's going to keep her tailbone tucked underneath her. She's going to make sure the ribcage is locked down and the spine's nice and neutral, core's nice and strong. With this, she's going to push from the hips first, making sure the ab roller stays underneath the line of the eyes as she lengthens her body. Extending out as far as you can, you're going to make sure that you don't fault through the core. You want to maintain a nice, strong position. Don't be too ambitious with the distance that you go, but make sure that you keep a nice, strong position through shoulders and core as well. If you feel like you're starting to collapse through your lower back or you're getting strained through your shoulders, don't go any further than the point you've maintained. So that's our 3 exercises for phase 3 with strength and also our last one for core. From here, we're going to progress into phase 4, which means that you get to throw things and have a little bit more fun with the exercises we're doing. Using the strength that you've developed, we're going to continue this program for around 2 to 3 weeks. Not quite as long as the first 2, because we're not going to prep the body in order to lift that weight. You've done the foundational work, and now we're going to put it into practice. From here, you'll notice a little bit more power generated through the legs, through the core, and through the waist, as we spoke about in phase 1, 2, and 3. With generating this force, try and practice it using the bag, on mitts, or even in sparring. Do your best to make sure you're using your whole body when delivering the punches, so it's not just using from the arm. Make sure you stay tuned to phase 4, we'll see you there.